Surprise! Yes, I am back in my live streaming ways. I had taken a break during the month of April to work on Camp National Novel Writing Month, which I'll talk about that a little bit later. First, getting back into the swing of things. Hello, my name is Kelci. I'm a comic artist. Today, I'm going to be drawing some spot illustrations that will be going in my new comic book, Roxie. I'll get to that in just a sec. I see we got some comments already. Hi, Jessica. Glad to see you back at it. Yes. Hopefully Carlos will join us later. Hopefully some other comics buddies of mine will join in too, because I was just hanging out with them on Discord, working on some other stuff. Anyways, today I'm going to be drawing some spot illustrations that are going in my new comic, Roxie. Roxie is a story set in the same world as Validation, a long-going webcomic that I've been working on for many years. I like to think that you can read Roxie as her own standalone story. I almost said illustration. It was very silly. She's a transgender roller derby girl with big aspirations to start a rock band of her own. And this comic follows her on that journey as she finds new band members, gets them together, and they perform their first live show. If you would like to check it out, it is available for pre-order on Ko-fi. So to get a copy, head to tinyurl.com/Roxie-book. Yes, I just dabbed. I am not apologizing for it. But I am accepting pre-orders until May 7th. Yes, I am accepting pre-orders until Free Comic Book Day. Did I adjust this so that I could accept pre-orders for a comic on Free Comic Book Day because I'm making a public appearance that day? Possibly. The answer is yes. Yes, I did. Which does remind me, if you're in the Toledo area on Free Comic Book Day, which is next Saturday, May 7th, I will be making a public appearance at the Toledo Game Room showcasing my comics. There will be free comics on my table. So there you go. Roxie is not one of those comics. It's available for pre-order now. Link on the screen. There's also going to be a link in the doobly-doo if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitch, link is on the screen. Anyways, the illustrations I'm going to be working on today are for the book. The comic strips themselves are all done. The book is in the final stages of being put together to be sent to the printer. Excuse me, sniffles. The weather's been up and down lately. The book files are, I want to say 80% done-ish. I still got to finish up these illustrations to put as matter between chapters. And then once that's put together, I will send those files to the printer. And the target, fingers crossed, is that books will be shipped out to the backers between May 15th and the first part of June. That's the goal. Fingers crossed that happens. I'm trying to leave a large window of time to account for any hiccups or anything happening at my comic book printer's headquarters. With all of that, let's go ahead and get into the art part. Boom. We're going to start with our leading drummer dude named Rob. This is the drummer for the band. I already did illustrations for Roxie and her girlfriend Alexis. Those two are already done, and I will show those off later on in the stream. But first, I want to ink in Rob here because Herringbone is already inked, but Rob and Anya still need work done. And I still got to pencil Madri. Madri is not a member of the band. She is Anya's grandmother, but I wanted to add her in. Excuse me, sniffles. My gosh. I wanted to add her into the book anyway because she's a delightful character. I love my grandmother characters. She's just an utter delight. All right. So let's go on ahead and zoom in. And before I forget, I'm going to change my paint bucket settings. It was on refer only to editing layer. I'm going to change it to refer to other layers. We don't necessarily need it yet, but it's better to change it now while I'm thinking about it. And I did pencil this with a different type of pencil. I usually use like a smoother brush, but this time I went with a more gritty, almost realistic brush texture. This won't be the ink layer. This is just the pencil layer, but the inks are going to be a different texture brush. Fun fact for people about the comic. So Rob's name was not originally going to be Rob. It was originally going to be Skin, because I was like, hey, punks usually go by stage names. And I thought, and my first thought was Skin would be this guy's name. But then I had the thought of making him not white. And I'm like, maybe Skin may not be the best nickname. So let's just go with Rob. Because Rob could also be a profession. I'm actually going to flip the canvas and see if that makes this a little easier, which it does. Oh, I'm actually going to have the screen hang out here for a second. I just heard the mailman scan something outside, which reminded me somebody had dropped off a package earlier. I'm going to grab that before a neighbor does. Ooh. Oh. Mr. Jack Wallace, I have received your comic. Thank you. I had backed him on Kickstarter for a graphic novel that he had finished recently. Looking forward to reading it. Okay. Back at it. I'll message him on Discord, let him know that I got the package okay. Oh, for anybody wondering, hey, you said you're running a book pre-order, but it's not on Kickstarter. You're running this on Ko-fi? Why are you doing that? For anybody who's curious about that, I wrote a pretty lengthy blog post on my opinions on what Kickstarter has been doing recently with the whole getting into blockchain and possibly accepting crypto. I think it's a bad idea, personally. For a number of reasons, which I get into in the blog post. If you wanted to check that out, head to my website, link in the doobly-doo, to check that out. But I'm not going to get into it right now. I've also ranted about it on live streams previously. So it's archived somewhere on YouTube if you really wanted to see me get irate about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I'm actually going to double check his nose shape here because Rob does have an unusual nose. At least unusual compared to a lot of other characters in the comics. Oh, here's a good one. I had posted this comic strip on Instagram fairly recently. Okay, a stack for Alexis, a stack for Herring. Where is Anya? Slaughterbox! Bella Broadsword! My roller derby nemesis! Had to lean it away from the microphone to try to not blast your eardrums. But yes, I had a lot of fun drawing this way back in the day, not gonna lie. But okay. Also, kind of forgot that I gave him all these piercings in one ear. Oh, and that ear is pretty well covered up. Okay. Flip the canvas, make sure everything's all hunky-dory. Yeah, this works. And yes, the idea when I drew Rob was to have him have this like lantern chin that's just broad and square as heck. In one of the comic strips, you can catch Rob baking cookies. Because I just love the mental image of like big burly guys doing non-traditional masculine things like baking cookies. Because big burly dudes are allowed to have fun too. As evidenced by the fact that I follow a Instagram account called Flex Comics, which is nothing but nerdy workout tanks and t-shirts intended for muscle dudes. But it's a whole bunch of just nerd references. As somebody who does weightlifting and has been back at it again for a little while, I think it would surprise a number of you just how many weightlifters are nerds. I don't know how hardcore nerdy they are. It varies from person to person, but in general, yeah, they're freaking nerds. Before anybody asks, no, I'm not taking requests in this stream. Because there's bound to be at least one person who asks. No, I'm not taking requests this stream. Maybe a future one. I have an idea. We're going to tidy up this line. Okay. That's a bit better. In case you're wondering what I've been up to for the last month, a lot. I've been up to a lot. I'm honestly really looking forward to the next 2 days because I'm taking the next 2 days off of work because I'm not working at the craft store that I have as a quote unquote day job. It's part-time. I don't even necessarily want to count it as a day job. For all intents and purposes, making art is my day job. The working at the craft store is to help pay for stuff that comics can't completely cover. Comics and art. But yeah, making art is basically a full-time gig for me. Very lucky to have it. I'm going to try that again. I kind of like that better. There we go. Now for these spot illustrations, I do intend on adding a little bit more detail to the character designs to, you know, make up for the fact that they're basically one-page illustrations. They take up the entire page here. They're intended to be almost like chapter markers. Like, this is the beginning of chapter 2. This is the beginning of chapter 3, etc. So to further illustrate that, I wanted to put more detail into these illustrations. Clearly, for those of you who have been keeping really close tabs on my social media, and by that I mean my Instagram account and my Ko-fi and Patreon pages, you'll know that I already have Alexis done, and Alexis was so far the most detailed illustration that I've done. And I'll show off why as soon as I get done inking Rob here. But I do want to add more detail to Rob. Like, these are bare bone pencils. Like, they're here to help get the basic form across and get the job done, but I do want to add more details. Like, I want to add something for his shirt, because I added something for Alexis's shirt. I want to keep up the theme, yo. Okay. If you got any questions for me about just about anything, feel free to shout it out in the comments. I will answer to the best of my ability. I'll mention this now, and then I'll shout it out again at the end of the stream. I am available for commissions during May. Part of the reason that I was really busy and not streaming during April, besides Camp NaNoWriMo, was because work was keeping me busy. Now that a number of freelance things have wrapped up, there's more time on my schedule over the next few weeks to about a month for me to work on commissions. So I have commission availability again. For May, I'm doing a special deal on mermaids, mermaid-related commissions, because May in art circles is Mermay, the month to draw mermaids. So I have special discounted slots available for if you would like me to draw a mermaid for you. That is on my Ko-fi page, and you can find that at kofi.com/Kelci D. Crawford. And I'll shout that out again at the end of the stream. Oh, how are the kitties doing? Well, Scarlet is still being Scarlet. The latest update that I heard about her from my sibling Kia was that Scarlet's not the only old pet in Kia's household at the moment. Their dog Eddie is also quite old. The text that they had sent was because we were talking about possibly going into van life living in a van full time, possibly not together. Good Lord, not together, but like, doing more like transient lifestyles, whether that's living in a van, going RVing, whatever that might look like. We were talking about that, and Kia had said, well, I probably won't do it until my older children pass away, referring to their pets. And then they were like, yeah, but at the same time, Eddie and Scarlett are staying alive completely by being stupid and spiteful, respectively. And I'm like, I would totally buy that Scarlett is just alive out of spite, because that cat is just nothing but attitude. She's very pretty, but she is nothing but attitude. Bree, I don't know what has been up with Bree for the last couple of days, but she has been absolutely bug nutty. She's like zipping around, bouncing off the walls. She's, even when she knows that I am sitting and eating my food, she'll walk away from me, and I'll be like minding my own business, and then all of a sudden I'll just hear in the hallway, meow, meow. And I'm like, Bree, I am right here. You know where I'm sitting. And then she just pit, pet, pit, pet, pit, pet, right up to me, and is like startled to see me sitting there. And I'm like, like, I love her, but there are days where she wants to do nothing but cause chaos. Otherwise, she did have her senior wellness checkup at the VET a couple weeks ago. She did not like getting into the carrier. The last couple of times, she has not liked getting into the carrier at all. It's becoming a bit of a hazard, honestly. So gonna have to see about getting some gabapentin before any upcoming vet visits. She's not due for another one for another couple of months. For there was a suggested list of like checkups for her to do, and I don't remember what the next one is, but her semi-annual senior wellness checkup is not due again until like August or something like that. But she's fine. She's doing great. I had her nails trimmed. She really needed to get her nails done. But other than that, she's still her grumpy, chaotic self. I did get her, you probably can't see it because it's not on the couch right now. I tend to move it between the couch and this like wicker basket thing. But I got her a mat from Aldi, of all places. Aldi had these like self-warming mats for cats to lay on, and Bree loves this mat. Like, sometimes when I'm sitting on the couch, I'll put the mat next to me, particularly if I'm like eating or doing something with my hands, because I don't want her like getting into my lap and getting in the way. So I'll put the mat next to me, and she'll get up onto the mat, and then she'll just loaf. And I still need to post a picture of this on the Tiny Dinos Discord. I shared it on the Fourth Leg Discord, which the Fourth Leg has a Discord channel now. But the Fourth Leg is a podcast that I'm a part of. Anyway, I had gotten a picture of Bree on her little warming mat the other night, and she just did the cutest thing where she was like, she wasn't quite loafing, but she was kind of like laying kind of on her side, kind of on her belly, and she did this thing where she was like closing her eyes and her head was tilting, and then like just a few seconds later she was just full face plant into the mat asleep. And I'm like, oh, I still need to post a picture of this up on Discord, but it was just the most precious thing. It was so cute. I love my little old lady cat. But she's fine. She's doing fine. Like I said, she had a vet visit the other day, and she's got a clean bill of health. I did discover during that vet visit that covering her up with a blanket did help with the vet visit. Like, she growled, obviously she growled, but she didn't hiss as much, and she didn't howl or anything like that. So putting a blanket over her helped keep her calm, which, yay, that's good. Okay. Gotta think of, oh, well, the first thing I can do to add some detail to this is get some textures in the hair. This is going to be a pain in the butt to ooh, actually, because I was just about to say this is going to be a pain in the butt to like color in later, but what I can do is put the inks hair details on a separate layer, and then whenever I cheat and use the paint bucket tool to fill in colors, I can just turn this layer off and it'll make coloring the hair that much easier. Heck yeah, I'm going to do it that way. Oh, another reason that I was MIA live stream wise during the month of April. I did have a public appearance at Rathacon at the beginning part of April, and that show actually went really well. Ooh, you know what? I just thought of this because this pen texture is too smooth. Let's do textured pen. Yes, that works for me. If at first you don't succeed, just keep drawing it over and over again. Eventually something will stick. Oh! I just saw that. Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, thank you, Ko-fi, because Ko-fi has a new little add-on that tells me when people support me on Ko-fi. Thank you, Jessica, for getting a commission. That's awesome. I'll take a look at that after the stream, and I'll get started on that right away. But thank you so much for doing that. That's going to help a lot with because all commission proceeds are going to help towards the cost of getting Roxie to print, which I'm going to get that link back up. Get a copy of my new comic Roxie at tinyurl.com/Roxie-book. There will be a link also in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Okay, first, really good to know that that integration with Ko-fi works, because now that little bot can tell me when folks buy something on Ko-fi, which is awesome. Ooh, and it ties with the Roxie book. Ooh, I look forward to looking at more details. Just thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. I'm really hoping that it's a mermaid version of Roxie, not gonna lie. I already drew a mermaid version of Allie. One of my other super fans, Aaron, requested that I draw. I'm pretty sure it was Aaron who made that request. But like, this was a couple of years ago. But a couple of years ago, she had asked me to draw Allie as a mermaid. And I was like, that's adorable. Of course I will do that. She also asked me to draw Charlie as a mermaid. And I'm like, yes, Black mermaids. Yes, absolutely. Like, I'd be absolutely happy to draw that, like, for sure. So yes, thank you so much for doing that. But like I was saying, all the Ko-fi commissions, particularly the mermaid ones, will help cover any miscellaneous costs for getting Roxie to print, especially with some of the add-ons that I'm including, like the stickers and the keychains, because there are add-ons available for folks who are interested. Oh, speaking of the pre-orders, we reached 10 backers, so the first stretch goal is unlocked. So that means every order of Roxie will now include a free Mr. Dino Pride sticker. I actually have a sheet of the misprints on hand, so I'll just go ahead and show that off. It's these little guys. This is a misprint page. You will not be getting this. It's a bit of a misprint because the lines are not entirely even, but it's going to be roughly this design, and it's going to be cute as heck. And ooh, a mermaid version of Roxie and Alexis. Oh, yes. Oh, I look forward to drawing that. Oh, yes. I am so stoked. Oh, my gosh. Heck yeah, I am down for that. You know what, Jessica? Is it cool if... Because I was thinking about streaming again on Tuesday and bringing back the Tuesday-Saturday schedule. But is it okay if I work a bit on the Roxie and Alexis Mermaid commission on Tuesday's live stream? Would it be cool if I worked on that on a live stream? You are welcome to say no, but I thought that I would ask since you're right here. Also, hi, Callie. Thank you for welcoming back to being live. It has been a minute, but I'm happy to be back. Also, Jessica, you don't have to answer right away. Just think about it, mull it over. Ooh, hell yeah, that would be awesome to watch. Yes, good. I will work on your commission on Tuesday in Tuesday's live stream. For folks who are watching this on the replay or are watching this for the first time live, hi, welcome to the live stream. I stream on Tuesdays and Saturdays, usually at 2 p.m. EST. So that means that I will be streaming again on Tuesday. That said, next Saturday, I will not be live streaming because I will be making a public appearance for Free Comic Book Day at a comic shop that's local to me, called the Toledo Game Room. So if you're in the Toledo area, check it out. I will have free comics for Free Comic Book Day. I actually kind of missed doing live streams, not going to lie. I will admit, though, towards the end of March, before I took a break from streaming for April, I was feeling a little bit of a burnout. So I am kind of glad that I took a break from it. If there's any one thing that I want to do for myself more this year, it's be kinder to myself. And that means not working so hard that I burn out faster. Like, I want to listen to my body more. If my body's like, hey, you're done with work for the day, I want to honor that. Especially since most of the work that I do is at home. It's not entirely at home. Again, I work part-time at a local craft store, which also, just going to throw this out there. Thank you, Jessica, for the commission, because this also means that I don't have to run a DoorDash shift this weekend. Yay, thank you. Because that was going to be the alternative was, oh no, I have to run a DoorDash shift. I would rather not do that because I just fixed the brakes on my car. I don't want to wear them out again so fast. But also, given everything going on right now, I really don't want to drive any more than I have to. Yeah, we're gonna have these locks here with the curves going the opposite way of the other ones, because it's going down the back of his neck rather than over his shoulders. There we go. I'm sorry, I just had a marvelous art epiphany. This is going to be a shout out to my buddy Carlos. So I'm not at the point of drawing a design on his shirt yet, but sorry, I just looked at the comments. Burnout is bad. Don't do it, Waggles finger. Absolutely not. Absolutely do not want to burn out. Anyway, the epiphany for the shirt design. So I kind of want to draw it now so that I don't talk about it. But should I say it now or should I just do it? You know what? I'm just going to do it while I'm thinking about it. New layer. Inks. T-shirt slogan, because this is a slogan. All right, we're going to turn the edging effect on, switching over to the white paintbrush, and yeah, we'll leave the textured pen on. We're going to make it a bit bigger though. Oh, hold on. There we go. There we go. I'll be tweaking this with the mesh transformation tool in just a minute to further cave to his memories. But yes, for folks who have watched previous streams before, you know exactly what this reference is. I kind of wish Carlos was here so that he could see the absolutely stupid joke that I just did. For folks who have no idea what the heck this is. So there was a live stream where I was having a really hard time drawing male pectorals. And at one point, out of frustration, I was like, why can't I draw this man titty? And Carlos in the comments was like, we did a little back and forth, and the term muscle mammary was coined. Instead of muscle memory, it's muscle mammary. It's stupid, but I love this joke. Okay, maybe the mesh transformation needs the rectangle marquee tool. Let's try that. Yeah, that's what it needed. Okay. But I had the epiphany, and I'm like, that has to go on his shirt. It has to go on his shirt. And if anybody asks, I'll just make the quip that it's a punk band in this universe. Oh, you don't know how much joy this gives me. All right, back to the hair details. Thank you for indulging me in that little bit of absolute silliness. All right, we're going back at it. Oh, I need to shrink that back down. I think the brush tip was at 29 previously. Oh, definitely black, not white. Oh. Okay. This could be a little curvier too. Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't get over my stupid joke. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. So sometimes I have little moments of genius. I'm a dork. All right, I need to stop laughing at my own jokes. Okay, so we're adding pupils and lighting effects to the eyes this time. Ooh, actually, I just had this thought. Because of how the book is laid out, the spot illustrations tend towards one side of the book rather than the other. So I was just thinking about that because I was like, oh, wouldn't that be neat if the lighting effect coincided with like how the picture sits in the book? Like a spot illustration sitting on the left-hand side would mean that the lighting source would be coming in from the left of the page. And I'm like, ooh, that's actually really good. And I think I already did that effect with Alexis. Now's a good time to show the Alexis illustration because Rob is now completely inked in. So I think the work in progress one does not show this. So we'll do the finished. Here we go. The high quality version. Yes, this is the Alexis spot illustration. For folks who go to my Ko-fi page, this may look familiar because the black and white version of this is available as a downloadable coloring book page. Because I was like, this is a lot of detail. This would make a really good coloring book page. So I just went and did it because that's the kind of boss that I am. So, but again, because of how the book is laid out, the spot illustrations like this one will be sitting, I believe, on the left-hand side of the book. I'm going to double check that. Let me get the file that I'm working with that's putting the book together. But I'm like 99% sure that the spot illustrations are going to be on the left. And if that's the case, having the light coming from the left-hand side of the illustration is like, ooh. Okay, I'm not screen sharing the words. Oh God, brain. The work in progress files for the book. I'm not showing that off yet. Oh, okay. I forgot about this. I had slightly tweaked the layout to which I might just change the layout again so that all of the spot illustrations sit on the left-hand side of the book rather than the right. But I don't know. We'll see. It was a momentary flash of inspiration thinking about that. But I had changed the book layout fairly recently because the thing about sending the book files to the book printer is that the number of pages has to be a multiple of 4 to maximize the number of pages that you're printing out. And also make it easier for the book printer to assemble the pages. This doesn't necessarily hold true for graphic novel projects. Graphic novel projects, as long as it's a multiple of 2, you're fine. But if you're doing something like a single issue floppy or something that is held together with staples, then page count has to be a multiple of 4 for the purposes of sending it to the printer. Hot tip for anybody who wants to get their own comic book out there. I did not have this issue with The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 because, again, it was a graphic novel. Graphic novels, as long as the page count is a multiple of 2, you're good. Because graphic novels are usually perfect bound, which means that it's held together with glue rather than staples. Okay, so that is the Alexis illustration. This is Rob, and Rob is completely inked in, so we are going to, we're going to close him out and we're going to work on something else. Probably herringbone. Hold on. Oh, no, I had on my to-do list that we were going to pencil Madri next. So, sorry, if the screen went black for a second, that's because I had tried to shrink down Clip Studio Paint, and StreamYard was like, what are you doing? So I just brought it back up. Okay. Now for this illustration, no, it's not illustrations. It's in a different folder. Oh, good. I already have the Madri file as a work in progress. I just hadn't penciled her yet. Okay, so for this, I don't know if this makes me a good comic artist or a bad one. Previously, in other projects, like with Johnson and Sir and Charlie and Clow, I would actually do character sheets and have like front view, 3/4, profile, back view, and have that available as a reference sheet. I've not been doing that for a number of my comics projects moving forward. I've just been referencing previous pages or my sketchbook pages or wherever the character otherwise makes an appearance. I don't necessarily know if that's like the norm in comics making to not have a character sheet, or if it's an anomaly and other character artists have character sheets. I know that this is like a best practice kind of thing that would make your life a whole heck of a lot easier. But I'm just saying this as somebody who had to draw a lot of character sheets for the last month. Character sheets are a lot of work, particularly for like a comic project. So I don't tend to do them because I'm already going to be drawing these characters multiple times for a book. So I don't tend to do it. That said, I do need to pull up a previous comic strip from Roxie so that I can get a good look at Madri here, so that I know how to draw her. Ah, this is perfect. Okay. This is from the Christmas special. This is Alexis, the one in the red turtleneck. Sorry we're late. There was an accident on I-80, so we took the back roads. No need for apologies, sweet pea. You arrived just in time for cookies. You really shouldn't have those until after dinner. Who's toasting this dinner you speak of, Big Bean? Just make sure the minnow doesn't get one before dinner then. Mission confirmed. Num. I love Madri so much. And yes, that is a tattoo in Russian on her arm because Anya and Madri are it's implied, but it's never stated outright in the comic. They're Russian refugees. They're particularly Russian refugees of Putin's anti-LGBTQ stances. And also because Anya's parents are considered political enemies. So Madri and Anya left Russia to seek asylum in the United States. It's implied in the story, but it is never stated outright. To that end, CB and I have talked about possibly doing extra validation comics, talking a little bit more about Madri and Anya and their situation, considering everything going on with Ukraine. I haven't written anything for this idea yet. It's something I'm still mulling over if I want to fully do like a 5 comic strip edition or not. If I move forward on the idea, if I move forward on telling Madri and Anya's story of basically leaving Russia, that's going to be a PDF comic separate from Roxie. That's going to be its own thing. And that's something that I would probably have like proceeds go to charity for that story, not profiting off of it myself. It's something I'm still thinking about. The thing is, this past month has been really hard work trying to work on edits for the others and doing character sheets for another freelance client and a number of other things that were happening during the month of April, that now I want to try to be a little kinder on myself for May. So we'll see. We'll see if I tackle this particular story arc anytime soon. Keep an eye out on my social medias for any further announcements on that. Also, keep an eye on this space, because if I do move forward on it, I'll be talking about it and sharing the work in progress and all that stuff. But, okay, we got Madri here. I love Madri. But I wanted to mention all of that because, yes, this is Russian. That is tattooed on her arm. And yes, Madri is a grandmother with tattoos because I think this is great. But I love Madri. Also, yes, like I said, it is implied in the comic that they are political refugees. And there are certain parts of it that are not that subtle, because Madri's introduction is basically her showing up at a protest or at a vigil and basically saying, "I wish I could beat your stupid president for some of the things that he has said about immigrants." Because this was when Dingus Grump was president. I refuse to name him. He's a bit like JKR. I do not want to give them any more power by stating their names outright. They're a bit like Voldemort that way. Bit ironic considering JKR. But that particular story arc where Maudry is first introduced was when Dingus Grump was sitting in the president's seat, basically, pretending to be president. And because that was around the time that Heather Hare had died being hit by a vehicle. And in Roxie, in that particular story segment, the vigil that they attend is for Heather Hare. And that particular segment of the story is actually pulled from my real life experience going to a candlelight vigil for Heather Hare in my neck of the woods. So when there is a segment in the comic where there's this red pickup truck waving the Confederate flag, shouting "White Lives Matter," and he farts away, that actually happened at the candlelight vigil that I went to. As did the numerous amount of people who flipped that truck off as it drove away. And also, if you see people in that scene in the comic wearing red bandanas around their necks, that is a reference to the Redneck Brigade that I hope is still active in Wheeling, West Virginia. But the Redneck Brigade is basically a communist faction of rednecks, which is something that probably a lot of you don't know exists, but it is absolutely a thing that exists. There are communist rednecks out there. Forgot to get the pencil effect going. We're doing the real pencil tool, and for her, we're going to use, we were talking about the color red, so we're going to use red, like a red burgundy. This might be the only instance in this spot illustration. This might be the only instance where her eyes are open. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. You know, I tend to draw a lot of my old people with this face structure where the jowls and the chin are angled like this, because I was like, this is very similar to the Chief's face in The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Chief Matek. Chief Matek also has a very similar structure. His jaw is a lot more pronounced, though. He has a little bit of a different nose shape as well. He also has gauges in his ears. But just drawing this shape for Maudry made me go, I do this a lot for my old people. I should probably do some sketchbook pages to practice drawing old people again, just so I can get some different face shapes going. You know what? I'm going to keep her eyes closed. Try to keep it consistent. I might have some bonus material where you actually do see her with her eyes open, though. I haven't decided yet. Madri doesn't have as stooped of a back as Chief Matek does, though. Like, Chief Matek has definitely more of a hunch. Madri's a twee bit more upright. She's not as old, to be fair. Not as old as Matek, anyway. Matek, deceptively old. Like, I haven't exactly dropped ages for everybody in the Legend of Jamie Roberts, except for Jamie and their two friends. They're already stated in chapter 1 to be 18 years old. But I haven't stated the ages of like Ragun Basho, Chief Matek, Igie, or anybody else for that matter. Kind of don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it. But you know, Roxie is a slice of life story, so Madri is going to be more in the human realm of age demographics. I'm rewarding myself with chocolate. Sorry, content warning, food. One sec. Okay. I took myself off the stream for a second so I could finish eating. Okay, here we go. Yeah, she's gonna wear a shawl. She wears shawls. Which, okay. The shawl thing reminded me. This is something that I haven't been able to do this past April as much, but this is something I want to pick up a little bit more in May as a way to decompress. I really like to knit and crochet. I do both. That's what we call stitchcraft, being able to do both. But during the winter in particular, knitting and crochet was how I kept my hands busy when I wasn't drawing comics. And it was actually really nice to do that. I actually finished a sweater. And if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen the sweater. It's rainbow. And then I started knitting a second one. And I took a break from it. I don't know if it was sweater burnout or what it was, or if I just got distracted. But I think I'm going to go back to it for May during my downtime. But I was thinking about other knitting projects. And yeah, Madri would knit her own shawls. You know, little old woman from Russia. What else you going to do with your hands other than incite revolution? But just knit. I knit my own shawls. And I sew my own patchwork skirts. It's really fun to do that accent. It's probably really terrible. But it's fun, okay? I'd rather have fun. Okay. So we got that. Oh. You know, this might be the chapter starter for the Christmas segment of Roxie. It's just Madri being here. For Madri's shawl, I think I'm going to add some knitting texture. It's just a matter of how I'm going to add that in there. And, ooh! I just remembered I have a special brush for this. I have to remember where I put this thing. Because I can never remember where I put it. Clothing. Okay, yeah, that would make more sense. I made a special chain hatch brush, which looks like this. I'm going to use that for the knitted shirt texture, at least for the pencil layer. Boop, boop. Oh, that encircled too much. I'm going to use the lasso tool instead. This is the pencil layer, not the ink layer, so I can be a little bit more loose. There we go. Let's do this with the green brush. I had actually made this brush back when I was still an in-house artist for Neverending, because we were doing a lot of things that was incorporating chainmail at the time, and we didn't have like a dedicated chainmail brush. Now there are chainmail brushes available for download through other resource guides for Clip Studio Paint. I did not want to use any of those. I just made my own. But I will say it does make a nice texture for knitted shawls. At least for a basic look for a knitted shawl. When we get to the inking stage, I'll change it up a little bit, but I think this will be okay for now. I was checking these off my to-do list. Okay. Well, that takes care of pretty much everything that was on my to-do list, and it's a little over an hour. I kind of want to, I don't know if I want to wrap it up here or if I want to keep on drawing. I think I want to keep on drawing now that I've said that out loud, because this is my window of time to work on these illustrations to get them done. So I'm just going to keep going. All right. So we got Madri done. Let me get the herringbone illustration up while I'm at it, because I did do an illustration for herringbone. Herringbone is the bassist. There they are. Yep, this is Herringbone and his daughter Natasha. Or Natalie, I don't remember which. Her nickname is the Little Minnow because his name is Herring. Get it? So that Christmas comic strip where it was like, make sure the little minnow doesn't get a cookie before dinner. This is the Little Minnow. Okay, so we got the tattoo lines inked in. The tricky thing has been, I've noticed, because whenever I put the files together for the book, that's when I start catching the mistakes that I made. And I have to be like, gosh, dang it, I got to go into the comic art and fix it up again. And the biggest thing that I've been catching when putting these files together for Roxie is that there will be comic strips where I will forget to draw the tattoos on the characters. And I'm like, well, that can't stand. So I've had to go back in and make some tweaks, and there's still a comic strip that I know that I missed, and I have to go back and add the colors to the tattoos because, like, I remembered to ink them in. I just didn't color them. Okay. To be fair on past me, though, the way that I did tattoo art on characters previous to now was a lot more tedious and really easy to forget to incorporate. Moving forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the tattoo in like a separate image file, and then I'll just like copy it and paste it into the working file of the character art and use the mesh transformation tool to form it to where I need it to sit. That's what I'm going to do moving forward. I did not do that with these previous illustrations and comic strips, but moving forward, that's what I'm going to do. Just to make life easier on myself. Okay, for this, I'm going to add the shadows, which it might help to add some flat colors to it first. Whenever I pick shadow colors, I try to go with the hold on one sec. So whenever I work with coloring in a thing, and I try to figure out the colors that I'm going to use for the shadows, what I try to do is I try to use a shade in the complement color of the most prominent color in the image. And I'll show what I mean in a second. So for this, Little Minnow's hair is blonde. Herringbone's color, I'm going to double check. Here we go. This is a good one to reference for Herringbone, because this was his first appearance. He was at his most pure in this instance. Okay, so he's got like more dark brown, at least basic dark brown hair. You never actually see his hair. It's kind of on purpose. Here we go. Okay. One sec. There we go. He was barking up the entirely wrong tree on that one. Because I've seen what Christian extremists do to particularly their girls. And I am not for that shit. Alrighty. Oh, I colored in his eye already. Okay. I think I might put him in a pink t-shirt. I think I might do that. Oh, wait a sec. Let me get the Alexis working illustration back up so that I can get the tongue colors consistent across these. There we go. Good. All right. I'm keeping a close eye on the comments section. I have a zero tolerance policy for fools like that. All right, I'm going to bust open this Starburst wrapper. The fun thing about these Starburst wrappers for like Easter or Halloween candies is that they randomize the color snackage that's in each one. And my friend Sunshine keeps opening them up and getting the orange flavors, and she hates the orange flavored Starbursts. But it feels like every time that I open these, I get the strawberry ones. And then lo and behold, I got 2 strawberries. And I can't eat these because I have discovered recently I am allergic to strawberries. So we're going to save that for either my roommate Alex or for Sunshine the next time that I see her, because I think she likes the pink ones. I think she likes the pink strawberry flavors. Oh, thinking about the commenter that I just had to block. I don't know why there are people in punk rock circles that think that loving Jesus is punk. It's not. I'm just throwing that out there now. Because the people who are in power who oppress people the most are Christians. And they profess to love Jesus. So no, Jesus is not God. Jesus is the oppressor. Just, that is my stance on it. You're welcome to disagree. I know I'm right. Sorry, not sorry to everybody out there who's a Jesus freak, but no. I didn't want to say this out loud because I don't tend to make my religious views very obvious and I don't tend to state it out loud, but this just irks me. All right, got to get the whip file for where little Minnow makes her first appearance. There it is. Okay, here we go. I love this little comic strip, so I'm just going to read this one out loud. Here we go. Oh, hi there. Where's your dad? Dad! Roxie and her girlfriend are here! What a set of lungs you got, little Minnow. You could wake the neighbors up. Sorry. Hey, let them wake up, Malishka. It's Christmas. This is part of the Christmas arc. All right, got to color sample her hair here. And oh, her and Herringbone have the same color eyes. That makes it easier. Oop, there we go. Okay. I know I just had a tangent about, you know, Christianity being the root of all evil, because it is, but and you may think that I'm being an extremist, but if you know anything about the Crusades, I am right. But anyway, you may be surprised to know that I have a Christmas arc. And that's largely because Christmas is so detached from its original the original Christian idea of what Christmas is supposed to be nowadays, that like I don't mind referencing Christmas at all. Whenever people are talking about there's a war on Christmas, they mean that there's a war on Jesus. In case you did not know that. I am just over here with all of the spicy takes today. But yeah, I have a vested interest in history. I've looked at the Crusades, all four of the major ones. I also know the history of, you know, the witch trials, which thinking about the witch trials, hilariously, there was a segment in witch hunt history where there were old men who would go up to witch hunters and say, yes, I hunt witches because I am secretly a werewolf and I take my werewolf form at night and I hunt down the witches. I can give you the names and descriptions of all of the witches whom I have hunted down in my werewolf form. And these people were so common back then that witch hunters would just be absolutely befuddled and just leave. This was a thing. This was a thing back in the Middle Ages when the witch hunts were a thing. There were just old men claiming to be witch hunting werewolves, and the witch hunters who were just like, I'm gonna peace out. The history of Christianity is freaking weird. And I'm saying this as somebody who is a fan of Dante's Divine Comedy, which is basically the basis for how Catholics view the cosmos, or at least they did view the cosmos until they finally accepted that Galileo was right. But like, Dante's self-insert historical crack fic was already wild enough. And honestly, if more of Christianity was more like self-insert historical crack fic, I would be fine with it. The unfortunate thing is that it largely isn't. Maybe one day I'll make a comic about one of the more prominent run-ins with something that's happened in the past, but I'm not sure that I'm at a point yet where I can talk about what happened without, I don't know. There's a number of things about it that it's tangentially connected to my sperm donor, and I don't want to talk about him. Whenever I come up with dad characters in my stories, I want them to be more like Herringbone, because Herringbone is actually like involved with his kid. Little tidbit backstory, add-on addition for the comic Roxie. So Herringbone has full custody of his daughter. And they don't really talk about the little minnow's mom. Like, and that's on purpose, because I wanted the focus to be more on the father-daughter relationship between these two, if they ever popped up. Like, I wanted that to be more of the focus and not worry so much about the mother figure. For all intents and purposes for the story, the mother figure is not involved with the little minnow. Ooh, this is actually a good place to reference the color of this tattoo, so I'm going to take that. Yeah, I would like to apologize for going off the handle and getting really freaking salty about Christianity there for a little bit. There's still a number of things about Christians as a whole that I find absolutely distasteful. And I am not going to be shy about stating that out loud. But it does irritate me that there are a number of people, especially on Instagram. There for a little while, there was one dude on Instagram who would post on the punk as fuck hashtag all of these like pro dingus crump, pro Christian things. And I'm like, this is not punk. None of that is punk. That's just enforcing the status quo. Because the status quo is not LGBT friendly. It's not friendly to single dads. It's not friendly to people of color. The status quo only benefits rich white men who are Protestant of some flavor. That is it. That is not what I am about. That is not what Roxie is about. In fact, I would like to think that I've made it fairly obvious in previous parts of the stream. I am very much against white supremacists. And it is evident in Roxie as well. Roxie is also not for white supremacy. Remember how earlier in the stream I had mentioned a segment where there was a dude in a red pickup truck driving by with a Confederate flag shouting "White Lives Matter" and everybody flipped him the fuck out? Like, that is in the comic for a reason. Here, I'm going to bring this comic strip up because this has more of Herringbone's tattoos, so I can actually color sample these. There we go. Oh, almost forgot. There we go. Alrighty. I'm going to reference my color wheel because I was thinking about making the little minnows overall dress purple, but I was like, considering the color palette that I'm working with, I might have the shades be a variant of purple. So I'm going to pick a different color. Here, I'm going to bring my color wheel up so that y'all can see. I'm rotating it on this side. Just realized I had to keep a close eye on the comment section again, just to be clear. Okay. Yellow. Okay. Oh. There. Okay. Okay. We're going to do a triad formation for the base colors here, and then we'll do the shadows in purple. So the triad is, because yellow is one of the more prominent colors in this, the other two colors that we'll work with will be red and blue, because color wheel. Alrighty. Ooh. Do a little inversion here. We'll have this, and then we'll have this, because yes. I like playing around with gender expectations. What color button should I use? We'll make it green. Lasso and refer only to editing layer. Boom, done. Okay, and that will have his hat be more red than pink. So boop. Oh, whoops, I forgot to change that effect. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Herringbone is definitely one of those people in the red bandanas that I mentioned earlier in the stream. Was part of the Redneck Brigade, which is the communist redneck party in West Virginia. In case you can't tell what kind of political direction Herringbone leans towards. And in case it needs to be more obvious, he does make an appearance in a new comic that I'm working on, New Punk Signal, in which his first speaking line is, and I kid you not, his first speaking line is, "Fuck Facebook." I hope that gives you an idea of the kind of personality that Herringbone is. Did I have the shadow effects at 35 or 40? I do not remember which. I'm going to bring up the Alexis illustration again because I legitimately do not remember. Oh, 35. Okay. I usually go to 35. That's usually my go-to when it comes to putting shadows on anything. And I forgot to color in his gauge. I'm going to do that real quick. Let's do, you know what? We'll have him match the buttons here because why not? Done. Okay. And for the shades, we're doing purple. Because one of the more prominent colors in this mix is yellow. The red, pink, and blues are just part of the triad arrangement. But the complement shade color is going to be purple to complement the hair, the more obvious hair. So we're going to change the color wheel. I'm not sure that you can see the color wheel because of how the screen is arranged. Okay. Yeah, the color wheel is in the corner of the screen where my face currently is, but trust me, we're doing purple. Here, I'm going to draw it on the color flat layer so you can see it. There, purple. Okay. Okay. I was like, direction of the light is going to be this way. Boop. Okay. I would like to apologize for making the mood somewhat, making the vibe a bit different than previous, because we were having a rip-roaring good time. Thanks a lot, Tyler, for ruining the mood, you buzzkill. Christians ruin everything. If they're not having failed crusades, they're killing the vibes. I'm doing it again. I don't hate all Christians. I just hate the ones that are in power, which is a lot of them. Oh, I almost forgot to add the pupils here. Oh my gosh. I want to throw this recommendation out there actually. So I've been listening to a podcast recently called The Unexpectables. And this has been a thing for a while. I only just discovered this. I think the main campaign for it has wrapped up by this point. But The Unexpectables was a D&D campaign featuring the characters Borky the Orc, Panic Grimtongue the Tiefling Bard, Greckles the Kenku Rogue, and Task the Kobold Ranger. And it was a D&D actual play podcast, so you would be listening to it and it would be like an actual D&D session that was like over an hour long, and some sessions would last like 4 hours. And I've been catching up on the podcast version of that. The main story arc that they just wrapped up is basically the gang fighting against sun Nazis. So if you would like to check that out, I highly recommend that you listen to The Unexpectables. Their podcast version is actually available on just about every podcast streaming service that's out there. I listen to my podcast on Google Podcasts just because it's easier that way. But I do recommend them, not just because they fight against sun Nazis, but also because they're just funny to listen to. Because I listen to them whenever I stock the shelves at the craft store that I work at part-time. And there's been times where I'm like, I'm really hoping that none of my coworkers are near me because I am just laughing to myself at some of the shenanigans that they're engaging in, and it's great. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm losing light. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to turn on a lamp. There we go. Okay. It got overcast outside my window all of a sudden. Oh, I'm out of tea. Gosh dang it. Oop. Swung a little too wide on that one. There we go. Oh, some of the other things that I've been really into lately. A lot of the things I've been into have been more things to turn on for background noise while I've been working, because I've been working really hard this past April. One of them, this song has been an earworm in my head for the last like week. There's a band called Siamese, which is like SIAMESE, E with the like apostrophe over it, S. For the longest time, I only really knew them as the band who did a animated music video called The Wolf, which is awesome, by the way. Highly recommend that music video. They also did a music video called Mr. Fear, and that song has been playing on loop in my head for the better part of a week, and I cannot make it leave. It's good. Do not get me wrong. It is good. The animation is also just freaking gorgeous and makes you really like want to watch it over and over again to try to like piece the narrative together. But like, oh my gosh, just like I said, it's been stuck in my head for the better part of a week. So yes, I recommend that you check out the band Siamese. It's probably not pronounced that way, but that's how I read it. Okay, we're making good progress so far. I'm hoping that I can get Herringbone and Little Minnow done for the end of the stream, which I should be able to do. Because that would mean one more illustration is done. Oop, there we go. Cool. Oh, turn the color flat layer off, because I've definitely had it happen in the past where where I try to use the paint bucket tool to fill in just the shadow part that I want on a dark area like this wristband here, and the paint bucket won't be able to distinguish what area I want to fill in, so it just fills in the entire freaking thing. And I was like, oh, I can see that happening. I better mitigate that. So I did. Should probably use the textured pen for the hair, actually. There. Oh, that would explain why it got dark outside all of a sudden. It's raining now. Okay. Got any other questions for me? Feel free to ask them in the comments. Oh, Gotta change the pen texture again. There we go. You know what? Let me go back into the ink layer and just... There. That looks better to me. That needs filled in. I could tell that was white. And it was like, it needs to be peach. Found another spot. There, fixed it. It just started raining here too. I'm in Oregon though. Yeah, doesn't it rain like, I don't know, I feel like it's a stereotype, but I feel like Oregon rains every 5 minutes. Like having an actual sunny day in Oregon is almost like a rarity. It's almost like England that way. I'm sorry if I'm dissing on Oregon. I actually have a comics buddy who's looking to move out of the Portland area, and he's been eyeballing Columbus and Pittsburgh. Which honestly, I feel like if Pittsburgh didn't have such ridiculously expensive rent in places, I would probably have moved to Pittsburgh, but I moved to the Toledo area because that's where a lot of my friends are at. Also, there's an Amtrak station here, which I'll tell you what, that's going to come in real handy when it comes time for Small Press Expo, because I got a half table at Small Press Expo this year. I got a spot from the lottery. Heck yes. Ooh, it rains for most of the winter. I love it. A little bit envious. I'm tired of snow. That was one thing that I did appreciate about living in Phoenix, was that I lived there during the winter months, did not have to put up with snow at all. I kind of miss that. So this is actually a kind of a nice segue to something I wanted to talk about earlier, but didn't know if I wanted to talk about it or not. One of the other things that I've been getting really into as background noise / stuff to check out whenever I'm trying to decompress is YouTube has discovered that I really like looking at van life and tiny houses and RV living. And for folks who might be thinking, that's a bit of a jump to like live in a van full time. Why would you want to do that? A good chunk of it is because, I mean, other than, have you seen Rent lately? Other than that, though, I've actually considered it because when I was a wee lad, when I was like 11 or 12 years old, my mom dated somebody who was really into vanning and van life. And like we would go to van-ins, and van-ins are basically places where like camper vans and people who lived in vans full time would like all congregate and get together and show off their builds. And there would actually be prizes handed out to people who had like the most artistic, the most tech heavy, the most, insert superfluous thing here. But like they would give out prizes for like different categories of van builds. Seeing that and seeing the culture and seeing how there would be people who lived in vans full time or even part time just made me go, you know what? That's really cool. And now I know it's kind of doable. And this was back in like the early 2000s. It's the movement is picking up steam again because I feel like now it's a lot easier to get into the scene because A, rents are so high. B, it's a lot easier to get access to the equipment and materials that you need to build your own rigs and go off-roading or living off-grid. It is so much easier to do that now. And I've been low-key looking into it. It's not something I'm going to do anytime soon. Good Lord, no. Like, that. This is probably something I'll save up for and jump on probably in the next, like, 2 to 5 years. Like, this is like a medium-term thing that I'm looking at. I had considered embracing the lifestyle before of, like, tiny houses or RV living. Mom actually did it for a good chunk of the time that I lived in like Southeast Ohio not that long ago. That was part of that was part of how I lived in my house full time and had a house, was because she wasn't living in it. She was living in an RV with her boyfriend. So she was like, hey, I need somebody to just keep an eye on the house. And I was like, perfect. I need a place to live. So we did it that way for like, I don't know, a year and a half ish. Worked out well for her, though. After that, she decided that she wanted to live in a house again. So she moved to Florida. I'm not at liberty to say what part of Florida she's in now, because even I don't remember. But she doesn't live full time in an RV anymore. I think they're looking to sell the RV that they lived in. But as far as lifestyle choices, it's something that I've seriously considered before. Especially because I have family who live in the warmer states. I now have more relatives in Florida, but I also have relatives in Arizona because I crashed with my older sibling in Arizona for a good chunk of like 2013, 2014. That was where I lived for like 9 months, was Arizona, in Phoenix area, which was, I do kind of regret leaving there. At the same time, weirdly enough, the comic scene at the time when I lived out there was really sparse. There was nothing close. Like, not like here in Ohio where you could get to a Comic-Con within a 2 hours drive. You don't have that in Phoenix, Arizona as much. Like, there's one big event and then like some zine fests, but that's it. That's really it, which is so odd. You would think that for a major metro area like Phoenix, Arizona, they would have more niche events for like comics and things, but no, the art scene there is a lot more traditional. It's basically where all of the California wannabe artists go because they can't afford the rent in California. Oh, I was going to use the textured pen for the hair. Forgot about that. I do miss the desert, like, a lot. one of the other projects that had been keeping me busy for April was working on a short story for a comics anthology, which that's about all the detail that I can say about it, about the anthology itself. I can tell you a little bit more about the story that I'm working on. It's two narratives. But one of the narratives is my account of living in Navajo Nation for 3 weeks. And just looking at the reference images, aka the photos that I took of my trip there, made me really miss the desert and made me want to go back. One day I will make it back out west. I miss it out west. I just moved back to Ohio because at the time I couldn't make it work as a comic artist living out in the desert. I think now I'm a little more prepared. I've got more skills in my arsenal. I've got, I got a lot more resources and I have a lot more money saved up. I feel like if I wanted to try it again, I probably could. I would need to save up for moving back out there, but one day. Kind of hoping within the next couple of years. Because living up here in the Toledo area was never going to be a permanent thing. Not to me anyway. No, being in Toledo was more of a decision of, I need to move out of my St. Clairsville house. Where else can I freaking go where the rent isn't going to gouge me in the eyes? Toledo. The answer was Toledo. Toledo is one of the few cities where rent actually shrank. In some areas, not in mine. I had to negotiate with my landlord to get my rent rate down. I've had to do that 2 years in a row. I'm not keen on that. Actually going to redo these lines over here. There we go. I think they're done. Oh, wait. Smooth pen again so that I can get in here. I had mentioned before I'm taking the next 2 days off, which is unusual for me. I hardly ever get 2 days off in a row, but I'm going to take 2 days off in a row because April has been intense. Okay. The colors just looked different to me between Herringbone and the Little Minnow and their skin color and how the shades were making the skin look, because I was like, did I color this with the same one? Yes, I did. It's just the multiply effect makes it look different. But no, we're good. We're good. It's how the light hits it. Science. Okay, we're a minute shy from 4. So I'll go ahead and, with this finished illustration of Herringbone and the Little Minnow, I'm going to wrap it up here. So I appreciate your patience and the digression in the middle of the stream. But I would like to thank you all for watching and for your support. You know what? If you dug my rants that I had in the middle of this stream, check out Roxie. Roxie is the story of a transgender punk roller derby girl starting her own punk band. where they tackle that sort of thing. Also, there's a lot of roller derby shenanigans. There's a Russian grandmother who's a political refugee. There's oh gosh, what else is there? There's himbos. There's so many himbos. So many himbos in this story. There's so much goodness. I'm really excited about this book. It's been a work in progress for a while, and I'm really glad that I can finally put it together into one place. We're crowdfunding to get it to print. So if you would like to get a copy of your own, head on over to tinyurl.com/Roxie-book. If you're on YouTube, there's also going to be a link in the description. For other announcements, I mentioned this earlier in the stream. I'll bring it back up here again. I am available for commissions. My workload has lightened up now that April is pretty much concluded. So that means I have commission slots. So that means I can draw art for you if you would like me to draw art for you. And May is literally tomorrow. In art circles, May is also called Mermay, where we get to draw mermaids all the time. So if you would like me to draw a mermaid for you, I have a special sale going on for mermaid commissions. $75 for a full color mermaid, $25 for a black and white ink drawing. There's going to be more info about that on my Ko-fi page, link in the description. All of my other links are available at linktree/KelciD. My official website, kelcidcrawford.com, is also there on my link tree. And if you would like to follow me on the social medias, that's all on the link tree. Other than that, going back to the Roxie pre-orders, I am accepting pre-orders until May 7th. So you have one more week to get a copy of my new comic, Roxie. We've unlocked the first stretch goal, and the first stretch goal means that everybody who gets a copy of the book will now also get a Mr. Dino Pride sticker, which is one of these little designs. It's not this one. This one's a misprint, but one of these-ish designs. If we make it to 15 backers by May 7th, there will be a exclusive 4-inch by 6-inch mini print that will be given to everybody who orders a copy of the book. You can check out more info about that on my Ko-fi page because there's more details there. And with that, I hope you tune in Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the next time that I will be doing my live stream. In that one, I will be drawing the mermaid commissions. I already got one booked. Thank you, Jessica, for your support. Thank you, everybody in the comments for lurking while I was working. Except for you, Tyler. You know what you did. All right. That's all I got for now. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this stream and you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, do all the YouTube shenanigans. If you're watching this on Twitch, insert Twitch call to actions here. I don't know what the Twitch call to actions are. That's all I've got for now. Thank you so much for watching. You are awesome. Bye.